Verse 11. No one then should treat him with contempt. Send him on his way in peace, so that he may return to me. I am expecting him along with the brothers. Eventually, Timothy is going to return, but he's not going to fulfill his work with the Corinthians. Also, especially because with this letter, where, like I mentioned, he's clobbering them left and right, they react. Instead of remaining objective at receiving the rebuke, instead of being objective and humble and accept the rebuke and recover and get back in the system, many of them reacted. Not all of them. We're going to see later on in 2 Corinthians that many of them began to recover from their reversionism, but also many others remained the same. Instead of receiving the rebuke with objectivity, they react, and they become even worse. They react in arrogance, subjective arrogance. It's the same thing when a boss, a manager, rebukes a person, one of their underlings, for a wrong course of action, etc. What happens many times, if say you rebuke your underling and he being a little pansy, milk-soppy man, he reacts in arrogance and he gets mad. And as a result, he takes a course of action of trying to become more defiant so as to make the manager more angry, to give him reasons to react. And so, of course, this is what we're finding nowadays. No one understands principles of authority. No one takes a rebuke correctly. And as a result, they react. This is what happened to the Corinthians. The story of humanity has not changed. It's people are arrogant. We'll continue being arrogant, and we're going to react whenever someone gets in our face and tells us something. Verse 11 now. Now we have an inferential conjunction, un. Therefore, and here we have may plus these. These is the indefinite pronoun, anyone. But here may, it denies it. Anyone, not, no one. And so we have also the subjunctive, the aorist active subjunctive of exouteneo. Here, exoutenese. We see that the subjunctive can be used as a prohibition, just as the indicative. The indicative has the imperative is negation, and we often find the imperative with uk. Here we have the subjunctive plus may. Uk denies the reality of something, while may denies the idea of something. Therefore, exoutenese, let no one despise auton, him, Timothy. He's a little youngster. He's advanced in the plan of God, but he still has a lot of things to learn. Yet he has all the motivation in the world. I'm going to send him, but make sure no one despises him. And the Corinthians, yes, they're going to despise him. They're going to make his life impossible. Let no one despise him. And then they contrast, but rather, propempsate, send him. This is a compound word of pempo, send. Then pro means something like help him on his way. But rather, send him. We have the accusative direct object, send him. And in case you want to know this is the aorist active imperative. This is an imperative mood. This is an order. But rather, send him, and then n plus the dative of sphere, in peace, and peace. Do not make his life impossible. Do not give him any more headaches. Rather, make sure he does his work and then help him on his way back to me in peace. And then we have here hina plus the subjunctive of erkomai, aorist active subjunctive of erkomai. We're going to translate it so that, this is hina plus subjunctive of purpose, so that he comes, pros plus the accusative of ego, me, pros me, so that he comes back face to face to me. So that he comes back to me. In other words, do not make him lose his motivation. I want him back. I need him. And so now we have here causal conjunction, gar, for ekdekomai. This is the present active indicative of ekdekomai, for I expect him. Dekomai means to receive, But with the conjunction ek is to receive him out from an area, out from a certain people. So I expect him. I wait for him. For I expect him, auton, the accusative direct object of autos, I expect him, and then meta plus the genitive. Meta plus the genitive means with, and then the genitive of adelphon, excuse me, the plural, with the brothers. So let no one, therefore, let no one despise him, but rather send him in peace, so that he can come back to me. For I expect him with the brothers. Do not make him lose his esprit de corps, his motivation. I want him back. He's advancing in the plan of God. He is prepared. He still has a lot to learn, but he's still a little weakling, and so I still need him back. Now, verse 12 is talking about Apollos. Apollos was a little bit more rough-necked. He had a thicker hide than Timothy. But Apollos, he walked out on them. Apollos was a doctrinal man. He did have enough understanding about doctrine, but he relied too much on his rhetorical speaking. He was a Greek, and one thing about Greeks is that they admired rhetoric. But he relied too much on his rhetoric instead of teaching hard doctrine. This is not the reason why he walked out. The reason why he walked out was because of the condition of the Corinthians. Verse 12 says, in the translation, now about our brother Apollos, I strongly urged him to go to you with the brothers. He was quite unwilling to go now, but he will go when he has the opportunity. So now, they, now, peri plus the genitive of Apollo. Now, concerning Apollos. Now we have a genitive of relation. Literally be like Apollos of brother. But this is an idiom meaning Apollos our brother. Adelpho. Now, concerning Apollos our brother. And here's the main verb, aorist active indicative of parakaleo. Parekalesa. I have urged him. I urged him. And then here, polla, the accusative of manner. Muchly. I accused him. I urged him much. The accusative direct object is right here. Auton. I urged him a lot. I urged him a lot. I urged him a lot what? Hina plus the subjunctive of erkomai. I urged him a lot that he go back to you, Corinthians. That he go pros plus the accusative of humas, that he go face to face with y'all, to y'all. Now, concerning our Apollos, our brother, I urged him a lot that he go to y'all. And then meta plus the genitive of adelphos again, with the brothers. And now we're going to see his response. Guy, we're going to translate it, but there was, so here we have a main verb. This is a predicate nominative we're going to find here. And this is the imperfect active indicative of Amy. But there was no uk that denies it. There was no thelema, no will. And this is thelema means it's like a subjective will. It's more of an emotional desire. There was no desire. And then pantos, this is an adverb, at all. There was no desire at all that he go now. He's like, Paul is like, okay, come on, go back to the Corinthians, please. They need help. Their reversion is help him out. And Apollos was like, Charlie. But there was no there was no desire at all that he go now, noon, now. So okay, I skipped this. Hina, that, and then again, the aorist active subjunctive of erkomai. That he go now. And then they, but, contrast, but. And then here we have the future active indicative of erkomai, eleusetai. But he will go, hotan, this is hote, when, and then the particle an, of possibility whenever. But he will go whenever, and now we have another verb here. This is the subjunctive, eukareise. This is the aorist active subjunctive of eukareio. This is a compound word. We see this word again, eu, good, and then kaido, which means appointed time. This means kairos is in contrast to chronos. We found chronos somewhere up here. Well, I'm not going to find it right now. But the difference between chronos and kairos is that chronos is time in sequence, in chronological order. As you can see, that's where we get the word chronological. Kairos means appointed time. So here it means he will go to you in the good appointed time. But what does this mean here in the Bible? Well, whenever he finally decides to go back, because he's not willing to go at this moment. So Apollos was not disoriented to Paul's authority. He was very well oriented to Paul's authority, but there was no desire at all. And unfortunately, Paul cannot force him. He's not going to kick him out of his team either. If one is going to do something, if one is going to do the work of the Lord, he better do it with the correct motivation. A right thing done in a right way. In the protocol system, a right thing must be done in a right way. Because a right thing done in a wrong way is wrong. A wrong thing done in a right way is wrong. A wrong thing done in a wrong way is wrong. But in the system, a right thing done in a right way is right. Only that is the only way that it's right. And so Apollos has to have his motivation, has to have his disposition correct. He has to be willing to do so.